Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another paper pumpkin alternative video on my YouTube channel and blog. If you're new to my channel, I want to say hi. This video will share alternative projects to stretch your paper pumpkin supplies. If you don't know what paper pumpkin is, click the link in the description box below and check it out. So come along with me as I attempt to create out of the box. This is the paper pumpkin kit for November 2025. It is entitled Wrapped in Cheer. Comes with a mossy meadow Stampin' Spot, and this is the kit. It's all nicely wrapped up. What a funny pun. It comes nicely wrapped for any weather that you may encounter. So here are the instructions. This paper pumpkin kit contains supplies for 8 tags and 8 boxes, and the coordinating Stampin' Up colors are basic beige, cherry cobbler, mossy meadow, and old olive. I also want to make mention that there is a die that you can buy, a die bundle. It's called Abundant Joy Dies, and they're on the back there. And I'm going to be utilizing that die set. They're really affordable, like $16 or something. So this is the stamp set. It says Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas with love, a gift for you from our house to yours, sending a little Christmas cheer, and then there's a wreath. It's a very nice little stamp set. It's something to keep for Christmas for sure. All right, and here are those dies I was talking about. The number that you need to order is 1678.55. And these are all the components. So we're going to start off with our first alternative. It's going to be a card, and it's a simple card because sometimes I don't want to, mess with overly complicated cards. So I want to share some measurements with you. I ended up cutting down the box to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So obviously I cut off all those little bits and bobs, made a straight line, and just wanted to get the maximum I could out of the box card. And it doesn't matter if it has lines in it. It doesn't matter. It could look intentional, right? So, and I really I guess this is a gingham. It's not a plaid. It could be a plaid. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. Doesn't matter. I cut that down. I don't know what I'm actually watching Picard on the computer while it's a space show. So if I stop, that's what I was watching while I was completing this. And then I have a basic beige piece, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just adhering those two down. I just wanted to give stability. So if you purchased the Circle of Season dies. So that was the die set that came in for the last 3 months that came with the paper pumpkin kit. I'm going to show it here on screen in a second. If you purchase this, has a circle in it, has hello, like an acorn and a strawberry and a flower. Anyway, if you have a stitch circle that's about 2 1/8 inches wide, you can do this. I just chose something that I knew that maybe paper pumpkin subscribers would have gotten, and or you know what, if you have a circle, do that. So basically I put glue on one of the wreaths that come in the kit. I put wet glue behind them because I suppose a glue dot would work. Wet glue for me is just easier on these smaller leaves. Then I put dimensional adhesive on the back, and I just wanted to pop everything up. So I wanted the sentiment, sending a little Christmas cheer. I used Mossy Meadow. My Mossy Meadow is really dried up, so it came out pretty light. I need to get a re-anchor. But yeah, so I managed to get that wreath and on that stitch circle, and now I'm just putting one of the bows, and that came in the kit, and then I am smothering it with Wink of Stella. If you don't have a Wink of Stella, it's imperative to have a Wink of Stella during Christmas. It adds the tiniest amount of like very light sparkle. It's a very nice sparkle. And so this is a very simple card. Very, very simple. But I love it because I like simple cards. I feel that simple cards are harder to make than elaborate cards because you kind of have to be exacting. Moving on to card number 2, which is not really a card. It is a gift card holder. So I have a piece of basic white here, just regular, and I am cutting it at 3 inches, and then I'm cutting it again on the long way to 9 3/4 inches. And I often don't like to talk in math or measurements, even though my best friend's a math professor. Isn't that funny? But he doesn't like math either. Anyway, so I'm going to use that little piece for our sentiment, but here it is, 9 3/4, and then I scored it, and I put the scoring measurements up there. I forgot them now. I scored it at 2 1/4 and 6 1/2. So this is going to make a little flippy flop lid, almost like a matchbook. And that's going to be our gift card holder. Sometimes you don't need like a big box or anything. So I cut down the box, and I'm putting the measurements on the screen here. So this is 2 3/4 inches wide, 4 inches tall. This is for the back side of the gift card holder. You could tie ribbon around it if you wanted to keep it closed. I think it stays closed nice on its own. This piece is 2 3/4 inches wide by 2 inches tall. And then the last one is 2 3/4 inches wide and 3 inches tall. So, and this box that came in the kit is actually like a almost like food safe cardboard, if you will. But it is, I would think that, it's just big enough to put like maybe a thin chocolate or a gift card. So I think that's actually kind of what they're for, the card kits. It's cute. I wish there would have been 12 so that you could have done the 12 days of Christmas. That would have been cool. Anyway, so on this bottom half, I'm going to take a fine bead of my, it's called multi-purpose glue in the catalog. I call it Tombow glue, and some people call it green glue. And it's not green, the bottle's green. I sort of smooshed the edges there just to make sure I didn't have any squeeze out, and then held it in place. So this is a non-porous surface, and I have some cherry cobbler here. And that bow, I am going to smear on my cherry cobbler with a finger dauber. You could use a blending brush if you have, or a sponge, or, maybe you could have went the pad directly to the bow. I just didn't want to waste the ink. And I often don't like getting inky, all inky on my hands too. I'm holding it down here with a bone folder, trying to make sure that my fingers don't get inky. I should be using gloves, really. I have enough of them at work. Maybe I should. I'm going to bring some, and you'll see. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter. Here we are. We're dabbing some ink on, and I will put that aside to dry. I'm going to wipe down my little surface here, and I'm going to bring in a spritzer. So Stampin' Up sells these. I believe they still sell them. I didn't check. but I have water in mine, and I am just flicking that little nozzle with water all over this. To me, this felt like watercolor paper, and so I knew that it could get mottled, and that's the look I was going for. So big red bow on the front and a tiny bow on the inside. So that little extra piece that I cut off from our 9 3/4 inches gift card holder, I stamped, and now I'm going to fussy cut that out. It would not be a video of mine without me fussy cutting something, right? Anyway, it says a gift for you. So this is going to go on the inside of my gift card holder. And just in case if you didn't know that this was a gift card holder, I'm going to put a little piece of card on the inside there that says gift card holder to pretend I had a gift card in there. Obviously it's made for the right size. I think a gift card is 3.5 by 2.5 or something. Anyway, it will fit, trust me. And again, here I'm using some wet glue, multi-purpose glue, and I am following it all around the bow. I'm leaving the bow ties a little bit loose so that they can be interactive, I guess, with the recipient. And you can see that it has mottled a little bit, the ink. Cherry Cobbler is one of those inks that is really dye rich, so you can do a lot of inking, like some fun stuff with it. All right, so I'm just using my Seal Plus here. It's my favorite, a strong adhesive. I'm kind of putting it down underneath just the flap there, so I'm not spoiling anything. I kind of wanted to see where it needed to go so that I could put it in there. You could certainly put it on the inside for sure. Here we go with those Cherry Cobbler dots, I guess, the self-adhesive dots. And yeah, there is my gift card holder. Here's the little insert so you know that you can put a gift card in there. And that is number 2. Alrighty, we're here for card number 3. I didn't write down the measurements here. That basic base piece is 2 3/4 inches by 5, and that card base is basic white. It's a regular card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm using the little flags or tags or whatever you want to call it from the kit, and I'm using those dies from the Abundant Joy dies, they're called. So I die cut from a tag from some of the leftover box paper, and also from a tag in the kit. And I have used dimensional from the kit, and I popped up Joy. And then here we go with my Wink of Stella, a super close up of, Wink of Stella doing its job. It's wet, but not water wet, if you know what I mean. It's not going to wrinkle up any of your papers or anything like that. And I find that it leaves just the perfect amount of sparkle. So it's not overly sparkly that, a guy's going to go, "What? You give me a sparkly card?" But it is enough that it gives it its own distinctive wow factor. Hope that makes sense. So we have the linen thread that is in the in the kit, and I tie a knot first on the tag, and then I tie a bow. And I'm cutting it out of the video because, it takes me a while, and and it's just the way it is when you are videotaping yourself. I don't know, tying a bow is difficult, and to make it look perfect takes me a couple hours. So I have a very nice, neat little bow here that I am perfectly happy with. I put dimensional adhesive on the back of that, and I'm getting started with the other elements of the card. So these little tags here, or banners if you want, I'm putting down with my Seal Plus, and I'm going to put this at a jaunty angle. And then I'm going to put the green one in on a jaunty angle. And then and it's funny, when elements of a card are on jaunty angles, I often make my sentiment straight. When things are straight on a card, I'll do the opposite, and I will make my sentiment at a jaunty angle. The thing is, you don't want everything jumbled, unless that's the look you're going for. There are no rules, but this is usually what I do. So in saying that, my sentiment is going to be straight. So here is my card base. I'm going to put the card front on now with my Seal Plus. And then, and of course, I cut off the excess. You saw the little haircut that I gave those banners. And sometimes, you know, a wider edge is nice. I didn't mind having that white. Normally I like thinner edges around my cards, and here's the Memento Tuxedo ink that I used for the sentiment Merry Christmas on the inside. And I was going to say, you know, having that little plaid piece that has a touch of white in there really helps with that thicker 1/4 inch border around our basic beige card front there. Anyway, here are the cherry cobbler dots that I am adhering to the card. And that, my friends, is card number 3. All right, everybody, that is me for today. You get to choose, and in the comments, let me know which one you like the best, 1, 2, or 3, and leave me some lovely comments as well. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.